should invest your money and not buy things you want. You should invest your money in the stock market. Instead of buying a pair of $220 Jordans, you should buy the Nike stock. I'm trying to educate everyone from my mistakes. I used to buy, I don't know, 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. You should buy the Nike stock. And one of the rules that I did, and I made mistakes when I was investing and I was buying stocks, but then I was leveraging, which you shouldn't leverage. Leverage is just a fancy name for taking a loan so you can buy more stock. So you shouldn't do that, but you should buy stock with your money. Instead of buying a $220 pair of Nike Jordans, you should buy the stock. And for that, you can buy 2 shares of Nike, which is about $152. And with the money left over from that, you can buy, not Apple, AT&T stock, $22.68 a share. Now, both of these pay you a dividend for holding the stock. And so if you hold the stock, at the end of the year, for every share you hold, Nike will give you $1.60 every year for every share. So 2 shares of Nike is $3.20. Buying 3 shares with the leftover amount of money of AT&T, they give you a dividend of $1.11 is $3.33. Let's say you're someone that buys a pair of Jordans or a pair of shoes of that same quality and level. That's about $220 every month. Let's just say the $220 a month, and then you would buy the 3 shares of AT&T a month times 12, that's 36. So you would have 36 shares times $1. So that's $39.96 a year. By the end of the year, every year after that, you will get from Nike $39.96. Unless you're selling those shoes and making a profit, I don't see that as a win. That $39.96 is only from the AT&T stock dividend. I can't open up too many tabs or it's going to crash. That's only from AT&T stock dividend, and you buy 3 shares every time. Times, the 12 months is 36 shares. It's $1.11 that they give you every year. So it's $39.96. And if you keep doing that with the Nike shares, it's $1.60 every year. And then the Nike shares dividend as well. $1.60 times 24, $38. So the 39 and the 38, 77.40 and some change. It's a little more. It wasn't exact. And then if you set up your trading account, if you use Robinhood, Webull, but they have options where you can reinvest your dividends automatically, so you don't have to touch it. But just to give you an example, at the end of every year, if you take that $77 and just buy more AT&T stock, then that adds more AT&T stock on top of everything else. And then you can diversify and you can buy different stocks every month. Instead of buying Nike and AT&T, you can go ahead and buy Walmart. Every year you can buy a Walmart stock with the dividends from the Nike and the AT&T. So you can also do that. You can just keep buying Nike and AT&T, and then every year basically, maybe you add a little bit more to this and you buy a Walmart stock, and then Walmart pays a dividend, and they pay a dividend of 83 cents per share. And so all that does is build up your money and your wealth instead of buying Jordans, Nike, different kinds of Nikes, Jordans, Reebok, Fila, Adidas, Puma. It's like with Starbucks. You think the average person, the average person spends anywhere from $90 to $106 a month at Starbucks. And that doesn't include cookies and cakes. Let that sink in. I'm not saying everyone buys Starbucks. Some people go to McDonald's and get a coffee there. And some people think, oh, I'm saving money because I'm only paying a buck or two for McDonald's coffee or Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I'm not going and buying, Starbucks. But then what people don't realize is when they go into McDonald's, they're like, I'm here. I'll get a coffee. Let me get an egg McMuffin. Let me get a biscuit sausage sandwich. And they don't realize that because you're not budgeting. If you don't budget what you're spending your money on and seeing where all your money is going, it leaves like that. Because I bet you some people will say, "Oh, I can go to McDonald's and buy a $2 coffee at McDonald's," right? And then they go to McDonald's every day that they go to work. Or even worse, it's such a habit that you don't even realize you're going to McDonald's every day, spending $2 plus. Let's not even go with the egg McMuffin or the sausage biscuit sandwich, or if you go with a full breakfast meal, just basically $2 a day on a cup of coffee, 5 days a week, $40 a month. Oh, that's less than Starbucks, because Starbucks was between 90 and 106. But that doesn't include any egg McMuffins, the sausage, and then driving there and say, well, I don't have to drive. I walk from my home to the McDonald's, and then I walk to work, or I take the bus. And then some people say, oh, I don't drive. I can walk to the McDonald's. And from McDonald's, I walk to the bus stop and get on the bus and then go to work. But you are spending $40 a month on McDonald's coffee when you can buy yourself a thermos and make coffee at home and spend pennies on the dollar. You're most likely buying an egg McMuffin or a biscuit sausage sandwich of the $2. And then if you have to drive to the McDonald's and then from McDonald's drive to your work, the gas that you're spending to drive to McDonald's, waiting in line as you sit there idle, and then drive to work, not adding in those things. You need to realize you have to invest. And that's something I did, but I made the mistake of leveraging, which was taking a loan out on the money I had to buy more stock. It's better to buy stocks instead of buying wants. Instead of buying Jordans, you buy the Nike stock. Instead of buying Starbucks and McDonald's, you buy their stock and you get their dividend. You have to take a little effort, you have to get up a little earlier, and you have to make your coffee. And let's say you get a coffee and an egg McMuffin, now you have to make a breakfast. But you can do what you do meal prep. Muffins. You buy the muffins in the store in a package. It's like $2, $3. You buy a carton of eggs, and if you want some bacon or sausage, and you prep them and you make them. You can make four of them, and then they'll be good. You can have one for breakfast and then, one for your lunch. So that way you don't have to spend money on lunch. And if you were to buy a car, let's say you need a car, but you want a Dodge Charger, a Dodge Challenger, SRT Hellcat, Red Eye, wide body jailbreak. It's $110,000 when you get the things you want on it. Or you can be smart and buy this Dodge Hornet GT all-wheel drive. It's got more than enough horsepower, $31,000. So you're better off, instead of making payments for the next 20 years trying to pay off that Hellcat, making the payments on the Dodge Hornet and then buying the Stellantis group stock. Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Fiat, and Alfa Romeo. Buying their stock. Buy stock like you're making payments on the Dodge. I'm just calling it the Hellcat from now on. Buy stock like you're making payments on the Hellcat. Because let's be honest, there'll be times when you wouldn't be able to make them payments probably. Something comes up. Do you have your emergency fund? Do you have your replacement fund? Are you investing money? Are you saving money? Are you getting out of debt? Look, you shouldn't take loans for anything. There are two things that sometimes it's unavoidable. A car, a reasonable car, Dodge Hornet, not a Hellcat, or a Toyota Corolla, or a Honda Civic, or a Kia, all the base models. I'm not talking about a Honda Accord fully loaded. I'm not talking about a Lexus. I'm not talking about an Acura. I'm not talking about Infiniti. Base models. $110,000 for the Dodge Hellcat, and divided by 84 months equals $1,309.52. Don't forget, that's without the interest you have to pay on that loan. And we'll do the $31,000 Dodge Hornet we'll do the 7 years, 84 months, is $369, $1,000. There you go. Instead of, without the interest again, instead of buying the Hellcat, you buy the Hornet, and then you make your payments for the Hornet, and then what's left over is $1,000. You take that and you invest every month $1,000 into the stock market, and you don't forget, you can go Nike, AT&T, you can buy Walmart, and you can buy the Stellantis group. And if you do that, by the time you're done paying off the Hornet, if you make the consistent payments of paying like you would for the Hellcat, but buy stock, by the time you're done paying off the Hornet, you can put a massive down payment with the money you invested. Now it'd even be wiser to take that money and maybe buy yourself a condo or buy yourself a small house. Or you take that money and you buy a small piece of land that you can build on. You follow, you find out that you can build on it, make sure it's in a near a residential area, and then you get a loan to build a house. Then you build yourself a small house. You don't have to build a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom, 4-car garage, 2-floor, 5,000 square foot home. If it's you and your wife, it's a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. You always go with a half bathroom. For some reason, it's better for sales. Just having that half bathroom helps out because sometimes people will pack in a house. They'll buy a small house like that as your first starter home, and then when you sell it, it'll be a family of 4 living in there, and then at least people can use the bathroom while someone else is taking a shower. It'd even be better if you can buy, when you build a home, to be a 1-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. That way, at least, and if you can get 2 water heaters going in there, one for each shower at least. Well, one for the whole part of the house and one for the other shower. So that way someone can always be taking a shower and not worry about hot water. With a living room, kitchen, and dining room. Or they can do that combo where it's a kitchen and a dining room. You can walk right into the dining room because it's an open area. But the whole point is, though, you build a small home instead of buying the Hellcat. Don't make the mistakes I did. I made so many mistakes. I didn't invest. I bought shoes. I bought a higher end Honda. Yeah, I didn't buy the base model Honda. I put all the options on the Honda I can get. I took a loan that was extreme. I didn't save any money to put down on the Honda to reduce the loan payment. I didn't do any of those things. And long story short, I'm having issues making these videos. This is like the third or fourth time I made this video. I can't remember. I got this good base model computer that gets me on the internet. I can do basic searches, but I try to do video editing and stuff like that. And, the computer will crash up if I got too many tabs. That's why I have to close a bunch of them down right now. I made mistakes. It's better to invest your money. And I invested, but I took out loans with leverage. So don't do that. And I'm hoping people can learn from my mistakes.